So I think we are live. Welcome
Yeah,
everybody to
welcome,
another
welcome.
live video production week, and that's me, Marco Novo. We have a co-host under us, Brigetti, and at my side I have Elad from Evmux. Welcome everybody. Don't forget to put your questions if you're not following already our project, this live video production. Please feel free to follow us and to join us as well during this live. Today will be a really special day. We will be talking about two topics because we like to talk about things. First, we're gonna discuss about this nice live streaming platform Evmux, and now I'm saying it properly. The first time I didn't say that.
That's a
Shame on
progress. That's a progress.
shame on me. And in the second section of this show, we will be talking about an important topic about branding marketing, which is how being a guest it's important when we go live. Okay, so I think I'm gonna throw the word to Brigetti as well. Brigetti.
Well, welcome everyone. Elad, so I'm so honored and great to
I think I hear her very, very low.
Low, yes.
is my volume low? Is that any
The
better?
Yes, it was. You should put your microphone a little bit closer, please.
Okay, is that better now?
That's
Yes,
better.
yes, absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. So glad that that's better. Yeah, I must say I'm very honored to have you on the show. It's always nice to have someone that represents the product that we are talking about. Um, I must say, I feel a little bit like a fish out of water, although I am a veteran at live streaming, because I've been out of circulation for a couple of weeks due to a neck injury. So I haven't been streaming for a good couple of weeks. In fact, almost since after connected, Elad, and that's why I haven't done that much live streaming since then. And I wanted to jump on here with Marco because it's always important for me to know what the guest experience is like. Because I think as the producer of the stream, you can educate your guests, and I have a very big emphasis on making my guests feel comfortable and shine on the show because after all, the experience is about the guest, not so much about the producer. You want to make your guest look great. And one of the ways that you can make your guests look great is to understand what the online experience is for them. And that is why I always like to have the guest experience on a platform because I can then see what my guests are going to see. And without doing that, I wouldn't know how to make them feel comfortable behind the camera. So, what I do like about what I'm seeing from a guest perspective um, on EVMux, which I have not yet seen on any of the other platforms, is that I can see what the producer sees. I can see the preview and I can see what's live. I can see everyone else who's on screen. What I generally find as a guest experience on a lot of the other platforms is that the guest feels lonely because they only see themselves and they're never sure, because what happens sometimes is, and I mean, I do this as well. And so I always pre warn my guests and I say to them that, at times I will put you onto full screen, but don't worry, I am there in the wings. So I haven't disappeared because sometimes I have found, Mark, I don't know if you've had this experience, but I found sometimes when you put a guest onto full screen, they see only themselves and they worry, it's like, where's the producer gone? Have they left them to myself? Are they coming back? You know, it can be a
Yes.
very, especially if you're a new guest, It can be a very scary experience. So for me, seeing what I'm seeing on screen now is very reassuring from a guest perspective.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's go to the guest. Elad, thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you again, now in a different scenario. Thank you so much. If you don't mind, introduce yourself and then we can start the conversation. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course. So first of all, Marco and Brigetti, thank you for having me and inviting me and doing this, producing this on Evmux. It's really exciting, and I appreciate that, of course. So first of all, thank you very much, and thank you for producing this. I know we produced also an event when we launched Evmux, the live booster, and I know how hard this is. So thank you for all your work. And let's introduce myself. So my name is Elad. I live in Miami, Florida. I just moved here about half a year ago. I grew up, born and raised in Israel, next to Tel Aviv, small city next to Tel Aviv. I'm 34 years old. I have one son, married, and yeah, working in the event industry, in the tech industry for more than 10 years. And then with the pandemic and everything, we pivoted very, very quickly to the virtual world from the in-person world. And yeah, in the last 2 years, we are developing Evmux. It was crazy development. We just launched it about 4 months ago, and it's a rocket ship. It's amazing, so crazy, meeting so many new people, getting new ideas. And what I love about this industry, that you meet the most creative people, because those people are creating content. So every day you learn something new, and I just like it. So that's me.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you. And I think we can start with this, Brigetti, because both of us and all of us, because Elad it's also a remote producer. So I think this could be a nice way for us to kickstart the conversation, because we know how important it is, and we mentioned this in so many conversations, Brigetti, because usually guests, they are afraid, they are frightened about this thing of going live. Oh my God, I'm gonna die or something while I'm live. Did this experience, Elad, was something important for you to create this experience? Because as Brigetti mentioned, the perspective of a guest on your platform, it's way different than on most of the others. This was something because happened because you had this previous experience.
Yeah, 100%. I think you're touching a great point, because and yeah, I agree. It comes from us coming from the event industry. What's crazy about events, I think, that it's kind of taking content creation to the next level of professionalism. Because just think about it, when you're creating content, let's say one-on-one podcast or live stream or something like that, you're trying to be as professional as possible. But if I compare it to a TV show, of course you cannot be as professional. You have there a lot of directors and people, and they have crazy equipment and lighting and audio and so many different things that you just don't have at home. So think about events, that it's kind of in between, because you do have a lot of people working on the event, a lot of people, a lot of stakeholders. The companies producing events, usually they have budgets. Okay, so they invest a lot in the quality of the event, and their requirements are very, very high. And also the guests coming to speak at the event, usually they are very high value guests for the brand doing the event. Just think, let's take Amazon as an example. Okay, just one example. So when Amazon doing an event, the people that they invite, they might be CEOs and CMOs and things of that sort of other companies, very high level people. And the experience that they will have in the platform during the show is maybe the most important thing for Amazon. Because if their experience won't be good, they will feel like Amazon is not good, right? Because Amazon invited them, Amazon is hosting them. just imagine that you're going to your friend and they're hosting you at their home. If you don't feel nice, you won't be back, right? Probably they're trying to go above and beyond to make you feel good as their guest. You make your guest feel good at home. So that's kind of, this is the way we looked at it. When I'm producing a show and I invite a guest, this guest should feel amazing. And what Brigetti just mentioned, that the guest, you put them on full screen or something and then they feel lonely. Or in other platforms that you tell them you have to mute yourself, because if you don't mute yourself you can be heard and things of that sort, and it makes them feel frustrated a little bit. That's not a good experience. Another example is just before we went live, right? Like we were live, the video was running as an intro video. In other tools, you cannot talk during this time. Like you and me, we cannot kind of chat. We have to use written chat, which
Yes.
is not the best experience. Again, it's okay. It's not that we cannot talk. We can chat, but it's not like the easygoing, nice conversation we had up until 2 seconds before we went live, right? So for us, it was one of the most important things to have out of the gate before we launched, that the guest experience in Evmux will be different than other tools and will be the best and seamless and smooth that we can think of. That's what we try to achieve. And, we are improving all the time. It's not that we are perfect, but I think that we do already have some features that we can dive into them to make the guest feel much better and to have an amazing communication between the guests and the producers, which is a key factor for success, I think.
Absolutely. Brigetti.
Yeah, and I think it's also pretty clear to the guest when they are live and where they are positioned on the screen. Because most guests, well, I think almost every guest, they want to look good on camera. Um, and I think one thing that I always like to emphasize to people is that the experience is not a Zoom experience. It's a very different kind of sense. And as a producer, I always want to feel proud of the video content that I produce. And for me, it's a huge win when my guest says to me, "Can I have the video content to put onto my website?" To me, that is the ultimate compliment. When they ask me if they can put it onto their website and can they share it without me asking them to share it, because that means that they've had a really good experience and that they are happy with the output. Because remember, it's not just about our audience, it's about their audience as well. So if you want somebody to share the content and be proud of it, then as a producer, you want to do everything within your power to make sure that that guest is going to want to ask you for the video because they had such a good experience. To me, that is the ultimate compliment.
I agree 100%.
and for that, and this is, I think this is a struggle as well, Elad, besides looking being easy to use. And I think this is one of maybe your biggest fears as the producers of the product, is the reliability, the video quality, because sometimes it's really easy, you have nice features, but with lost within the middle of these bells and whistles, the video quality drops. Can you tell, because I think I don't know a lot about this, can you share some insights about this, because I think it's important for people to understand how the video goes from the camera through the internet to Evmux, and
Yeah.
then to people's houses.
Yeah, of course. So I'll try to keep it as simple as I can. But again, people in the chat, and Marco, if you think that I need to rephrase things to make it more clear,
Okay.
please feel free to let me know. Basically, um, we are the speakers now. We are in what we call the speaker room. Okay, it's like the Evmux platform. Marco is the producer, so he has all the capabilities to switch the scenes and to really control how it looks on the screen for the audience. But for us as speakers, it's like it's not a Zoom because it's a bit different and it shows me that I'm live and things of that sort, but we are in kind of a gallery view talking. Okay. So very nice and easy experience for me as a speaker. Now the system, what it does, and that's because Evmux is a web-based system, which I think is a huge advantage over a software. So me and my computer and my internet, basically like any other Zoom meeting. Okay, I'm talking to Marco and Brigetti, and as long as I can handle on my computer Zoom meetings, I can definitely handle this call. I'm not streaming from my computer. Marco is also not streaming from his computer. Okay, all the heavy lifting happens on the cloud. Okay, on the servers, and that's what's very, very nice about it, because if Marco's internet now goes down, you won't be able to see Marco on the screen, of course, but the stream will still go. And think about it, when you create posts on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, if your live is cut off, then also your YouTube post cut off and you need to recreate a YouTube post. But if your internet is gone and you're out of the screen, but the stream keeps going, then you are back and the stream is just still going. You haven't been on the screen, but the stream is still there. So I think that that's very important to understand. So basically what happens is, again, our video feeds, if you will, goes into the server. Then Marco, as the producer, sees everything, can redesign it. Can In Evmux we have crazy capabilities with how you would like to design the screen. And then Marco, before we go live, Marco choose, we call it broadcast channels. Where would you like to stream the show? So you can stream only to YouTube, or you can do what we call multi-stream and then stream it to many locations, many destinations at the same time. And what's again nice about it, that it doesn't take any more resources from Marco's computer and internet or any other speakers, because again, all the heavy lifting happens on the cloud. So for Marco, it's exactly the same consumption. Also for us as speakers, same resources we need to invest, and that's it. And then from Evmux, it flies from our servers in Evmux, it flies to Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, any other RTMP source, whatever you set up as your broadcasting channels. I hope that this is clear enough. Feel free to ask any follow-up questions.
I want to agree there, Marco, with your question on as far as stability is concerned. As a producer, um, that is one of your first concerns above and beyond the bells and whistles. Because if you don't have stability, then nothing else pretty much matters. But just talking about some of the bells and whistles, I think there are some unusual bells and whistles in um, Evmux. So if you can maybe just expand on that, because I know a lot of people have said that what you've accomplished with Evmux is not possible when it comes to bells and whistles. Moving the logo onto different locations, being able to move comments on screen and that sort of thing. So just tell us a little bit about why that was important to you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Thank you for the question. So, again, I think it's kind of the same reason coming from the event industry. And in events, the requirements from the clients we worked with, again, I'm talking about big brands, enterprises, the requirements is to be able to control and adjust every pixel of the screen. They don't accept that you have just different layouts, templates, if you will, that you can use, and that's it. It's just not acceptable. They tell you, use another tool. I don't know, figure it out. Okay, that's basically what they say. And then this is when we started to understand that there is an opportunity here to develop a tool like Evmux, because the tools back then were either very easy to use, very successful, but very limited with the layouts and what you can do, or tools like OBS that they are very robust with crazy features, but very not easy to use, right? So you needed to, for those brands, they needed to invest a lot of money to produce these shows, because you needed a lot of people to make it happen, because OBS is not easy enough. So then we thought that we can come up with what we call the sweet spot, like be there with very, very easy to use capabilities with some layouts here and there. Like Marco, I think that this is what you're using now, right? The dynamic
Yes,
scenes of
yes,
Evmux.
yes, yes, yes.
Very similar to other tools that that you can change the layout in one click of a button, switch here, switch there. Some capabilities, the logo on the top right corner, you don't have much capabilities to adjust things. But on the other end, it's very, very easy. So it was important for us to have this, because a lot of people, it's good enough for them. And we appreciate that they don't need the ability to change too much. To the contrary, they want the software to guide them to the, let's say, to some capabilities, some templates, and that's it. And that's good enough for them. But because we wanted to also allow people to evolve, and another thing is that we believe that people starting with dynamic scenes or simple scenes, depends how you call it, they would like at some point to upgrade themselves as content creators. Okay, maybe they start with dynamic scenes, but after 1, 2, 3 months, they would like to upgrade. Okay, so I'm not talking of upgrade financially. Like in Evmux, you don't have to upgrade to another package for that. It's even in the free package. But I'm talking about upgrade themselves as content creators and what they create and the quality of the content they create. And then we have what we call the pro scenes. With pro scenes, you basically can create your show. And then in each scene, very similar to the idea of OBS, also with scenes in OBS, you can create scenes with adding layers, position them wherever you want, etc. The main difference is that, first of all, you can invite guests very, very easily, and it's a drag and drop mechanism. So it's very easy to create pro scenes in Evmux compared to any other tool. And then I think you get this sweet spot that we said. Like you have the very, very easy, simple dynamic scenes, and you have the pro scenes that they are still very easy, but allows you to take a step up with the content you create. And that's pretty unique as far as I know. I think we're pretty unique with having these two options of dynamic scenes and pro scenes. And I can tell you, for example, churches, we see how important the pro scenes is for churches, because it's not only controlling the drag and drop and on the pixel, make sure that you can lay out the screen. It's also that you create a run of show, basically, because you have all your scenes on the left side, and then Marco, in the dynamic scenes, you need to choose on the fly what to do. If you have that framed, on the right side, you have the opening, and then Marco, Elad, and Brigitte, then Elad alone, then all the three of us again, and then the outro video. It's just boom, 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 boom. Click one button and you play the show very, very easily. So I think it's also very helpful for, let's call it, shows like events, churches, things that you kind of having a run of show, and it really helps you to be in a good shape and not do mistakes when you're live.
Awesome. That's
The
really
other thing I
important.
wanted to ask you, Elad, is for me as a producer as well, the importance of the ease of use of playing your intro and your outro, because to me, that makes or breaks your show. And I don't want to edit my video afterwards. I'm lazy. I really just want it to be smooth.
Yeah.
Um, and the final product must just be great. And so you can't have an intro or an outro video that doesn't play right to the end and then cuts to the scene that I wanted, either myself or the guest or whatever. But that transition needs to be razor sharp and smooth. As a producer, I don't want any hiccups. Tell us about how you made that work in EVMux.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think it's extremely important, and that's why we have what we call the auto switch feature. So I think that the best practice to do that is to create a scene with the intro video. Okay, then you can in Evmux very easily with one click of a button, you can say that we call it auto switch. When this video ends, jump to another scene. And then you tell the system after this video ends, jump to a scene with Marco, Brigetti, and Elad. Okay, the scene called whatever the name you provide to this scene. So then you play the video when you start the show. You don't touch anything. You do like this. Once the video ends, boom, it jumps to Marco, Brigetti, and Elad. In other tools, you need to, after the video, you don't know exactly how the screen will look. You need to start to do switching, and you need to add to stream, remove to stream, these kind of things. And then the editing, the recording you will have, it won't be very seamless without any hiccups. You will need to do some sort of editing there. With Evmux, no. From one scene to another, you know exactly how it will look because you prepared that ahead of time. So you know after the intro video, it will be exactly Elad, Marco, and Brigetti on the stage, exactly as you want them to be positioned. For example, here it's me on the big screen, and then Brigetti top right, and Marco just below. So it will be exactly like that. And then when you are ready to play the outro video, you simply click play the outro video, and that's it. And then you go offline, and you have the recording seamless without any hiccups, exactly as you wanted it, with smooth transitions. And yeah, I agree, it will save you so much time of post editing that way. And yeah, again, we have that. We have that even for the free plans. And I encourage everyone to try and to give us feedback. We always want feedback.
Awesome. That's important as well. And I need to talk about this feature because for me, and I think Brigetti will love this feature as well, one of the struggles we have sometimes is to communicate as producers, is to communicate with that given person that we need to tell them, look, the slideshow is not going through. You need to speak closer to the microphone. You need to put yourself in the middle of the image, because mainly we have two options. A, we interrupt the speaking or the speaker, and we jump into the stage, and then we say what we have to say, or we write this in the private chat. But most of the times they are not reading the private chat.
Yeah.
What Evmux made to overcome this?
Yeah, so great point. And I think again, coming from the event industry really helped us to understand exactly what you said, how important this is for the producers to be able to communicate with their speakers. And it goes both directions, because coming back to the experience of the guest, if the guest knows and you tell them ahead of time that you can communicate with them verbally during their live, it makes them feel much more comfortable, because they know that if there is anything, you will be able to communicate it with them. And if you're not communicating anything, it means everything is just fine. Okay. So it really helps. And let's take an example. We had President Bill Clinton in one of the shows we produced. And just imagine that we couldn't communicate with this person when he is live to give him feedback if needed. For us, it was something that it has to be out of the gate when we launch. And we have the feature called push to talk. Push to talk basically means, just think about it like in the television, in the news again, that you have headphones for anyone on the stage, right? So Marco, in this case, will be, now Marco is on the stage, but assuming Marco is the remote producer sitting behind the scenes, Marco will be able to communicate with me on the stage with the push to talk. Like click on, we call it also walkie-talkie. Like I have an icon next to myself on Marco's dashboard, Marco Studio in Evmux. Marco click on it, and then Marco can talk to me, and only me will hear that. Okay, so Marco can tell me, Elad, you're talking too much, please cut it off. Or Marco can tell me, Elad, we have to wrap up in 2 minutes, please, last question. Or Marco can tell me, Elad, your head cuts off, or we don't hear you well, whatever. Because as Marco said, this is also our experience. When speakers are very focused on their speech, they're not taking too much attention to the chat. It's very hard for people not experienced to do that at the same time. And I don't think you as producers should expect that, because it's not going to happen. Like maybe some of them, yes, but the majority of speakers from our experience, they just don't pay attention to the chat. And if they do, it's, after a couple of minutes at least. So you want to give them some feedback. It will take time for that to see the feedback. Okay. So being able to communicate with them verbally that they wouldn't be able to miss that, I think it's a game changer. Again, to upgrade your show, to take it to the next level, because the alternative is what Marco said, is kind of taking them off stage and talk to them, or go live yourself and tell them something, which is weird because everyone watching will see that. You don't want that, right? You want,
Absolutely.
as long as it's easy, you do want to upgrade your show, right? You do want to look professional. I'm not saying, again, investing thousands of dollars to make it happen. Yes, it doesn't worth it sometimes, but if it's there available in the product you are using, I think it's amazing.
Indeed. Do you know about it, Brigetti, about this feature?
I had a run through with Elad a couple of weeks back, and it definitely is a game changer in terms of communicating with your guests, and avoiding embarrassing situations. Because I agree with you, Marco. Sometimes people don't always read, what you're typing, and if you want to quickly correct them, Elad mentioned some of the situations where they're not properly framed or you can't hear them. I must admit that there are some reasons why I liked the advent of Zoom is because it's easier to get guests. People are more comfortable with jumping on camera because of Zoom. But on the other hand, there are some things that I hate about the Zoom culture that I absolutely dislike intensely, which is having to say to people on my video live, "You muted. Please unmute yourself." I really, I have an intense dislike for that. And so I try and emphasize with people that my live stream is not a Zoom experience. I I do not like to use that can you mute unmute on camera, and so this feature totally removes that, because with voice you can very, very, very quickly fix it,
Absolutely.
faster than you can with text, because as you said, people don't always read the text. It's an option, but the fastest way to fix it is to have that in-ear experience where you can tell someone you're muted and they can fix it instantly.
Yes, and the thing is, and this happened to me sometimes, is that sometimes the speaker is sharing a PowerPoint with only one screen. The screen it's all took by the presentation, so there's no way that he or she can read the private chat. So
Correct.
this
It
is
happens a lot. I agree with you. It happens a lot that they share a screen. And again, think about it, that your guests, they are not professional speakers, right? So a lot of times we invite someone that maybe it's their first experience in presenting to audience in live stream, or even in recording. Okay, so they don't really know how to take their presentation to the next screen. Maybe they don't even have another screen.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so the push to talk feature is extremely important for the experience. And I didn't have even one producer told me that it didn't happen to them, that they had, like, they were in a situation that they were like, I have to talk to you, but I cannot. Like, I have to tell you something. You don't see the chat. I'm like, I don't know what to do. It's a very frustrating situation, again, for both, because the speakers, they don't know what's going on, and the producer, they're like tied without the ability to talk to you. Really not nice situation to be at when you're live. And I think the push to talk just fix it very easily. So yeah, great, simple but very powerful feature.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for me, when we had this live show some months ago, and then after the show, I thought, "Oh my god, this is really huge," because sometimes it's a huge struggle to get our guests to be in the right position, to put higher the microphone or something. So this feature, it's for me, it's really nice. Having in mind mostly this event production and these kind of things.
Yeah.
Do you have any question, Brigetti?
Elad, what's next, if I may ask? You seem
Yes.
to have covered almost all the bases um, on a sort of wish list that I would have had as a producer. Um, so what's next? I mean, are you still looking at further enhancements in the future without us putting you in an uncomfortable position? But or if you stop development, or are you still looking at further enhancing the platform?
Yeah, so first of all, we of course we haven't stopped development. Totally the contrary. We're investing a lot in our development. We have the most amazing development team, all based in Israel. Crazy talented people, and yeah, the roadmap is full with different things. I'm not able, of course, obvious reasons, to share everything, but I can tell you, stay tuned. Even next week we're going to launch something very, very nice. The launches, we for now we do them every week on Thursday in our town halls. We go, maybe it's a nice opportunity to mention that every Thursday 1 p.m. Eastern. I think it's in Europe, it's about 6 hours. So 1 plus 6, it's 7 p.m.
Yes.
Central Europe, and it's 10 p.m. 10 a.m. Sorry, 10 a.m. Pacific time. So every Thursday, and if you want to get any notification about that, so our Facebook group or our YouTube channel, or sign up to Evmux, it's free. So you have a free account, and then you will also be in our mailing list, and you'll get a notification about the town halls. And in when first of all, in the town halls we talk a lot about how to use Evmux to the best, and also when we launch anything new, we first of all say that in the town halls, because we want to be appreciative to our community that we are building. um, so hopefully next week we will launch something new, and a lot is in the pipeline, a lot of new developments. I think that we really believe in content creation, in the content creation industry. So the different verticals: churches, podcasts, live streamers, gaming. I'm not saying that we're going to all of them at once. Of course, we have to focus. I think we're in a very exciting situation that we are still kind of exploring, and we're doing research. What are the verticals that Evmux is the most suitable for? We still, I think we have some sort of understanding, but it's not like set in stone yet. Still going to different verticals. And I think Evmux is very good to different verticals. Like podcasters, I definitely can see them use Evmux very well. Churches, live streamers, events, of course. I think those four verticals are very high priority. Gamers, etc., we also want to go there. I think that would be our second priority for now. um, Unless, again, I will be surprised and I'll see a lot of gamers taking advantage of Evmux and using it to the best, and then maybe I'll see, okay, maybe there is something I didn't understand before. And that's why we are always looking to see how people leveraging Evmux to learn more, always.
Okay, I do have another question.
Yeah.
First of all, a personal question.
Yeah, go for it.
Because for a producer, it's very important to have a coffee mug. Does Evmux have a coffee mug for producers with the Evmux logo?
So that's a great question. We are working on it. We're going to have, first of all, again, worth mentioning that we are very soon, we launch our affiliate program, and we're going to treat our affiliators very, very well with a lot of swags and things of that sort. So definitely stay tuned. I also think that our logo with the star is very cool. And hopefully the swags will be amazing as well. And yeah, definitely on the roadmap to create swags for our dear community and affiliators.
Okay, so I'm putting in my order for an Evmux mug.
Noted. Noted.
But my question to you was the other thing that I find important as a producer. So tell me, what are the limitations or features that you have in place, or limitations is actually the correct word, for sharing videos in EVMux? Because a lot of the systems have a limitation for the amount of the file size. So what is the
Yeah.
limitation in EVMux?
Cool, great question. So the limitation in Evmux to upload a video file is 2 GB per video. But there is a workaround to that. If you have a video of 4 GB, you can cut it in the middle and then have one scene of the first part of the video and then auto switch to the next scene. So basically, you're not really limited. With that said, your package, the whole package, is limited by storage. It was important for us to keep things simple and do it kind of like, Apple, Google, all these tools that basically they don't limit anything besides the storage. So we are trying to go towards this direction. So all in all, you're limited in the basic plan to 20 GB and in the pro plan to 50. And of course, you can have more, but 50 is a lot, right? So I tend to say that you're not really limited, but when you upload one file, you're limited to 2 GB, which is a lot. We don't limit the length of the video, only the size of the video. With that said, we also support the share local video feature. So you can share the video from your computer and then you're live and then you're not limited. However, it will rely on your internet connection and not on the cloud, which is not very recommended. So I'm always saying if you have no choice, okay, so we have the ability to share local videos. But if you do have a choice and you can upload the video ahead of time to the system, do that, because no way your internet will be more stable than the cloud. So definitely do that.
That's very, very, very generous. 2 gigabytes.
Absolutely.
I mean, oh my goodness. I'm not aware of anyone else at this present moment who offers anything close to 2 gigabytes. Marco, of you aware of anyone else that offers 2 gigabytes? That's pretty generous.
Yes, it's an episode. 2 GB. It's an episode.
Yeah, the plan is it's exactly the plan. The reason we thought about 2 GB is because it was reasonable for us, for people that they don't even want to go really live. They want to do what we call simu live. It means that you record the video ahead of time, and you can definitely record it on Evmux, and then you basically take this video and you go live just playing the video. Okay.
Yes.
So that's basically why we thought about it. And also, we don't believe on as a method, right, and as an approach to limit these kind of tiny things within the system. I think it makes things more complex. I prefer personally to limit the account as a whole. So to limit the storage to 50 GB, and then within those 50 GB, do whatever you want. Like the 2 GB is because from technical reasons we found that 2 GB is the best. And more than that might cause some issues here and there. So we decided to go with 2 GB. Maybe we will raise it in the future. Also, we thought that 2 GB is just more than what you need. And also, you can cut it in the middle and create just another scene. So you're not really limited. The limitation will be in the account level. This is, again, our approach. This is how we believe things are more simple and straightforward. And we believe that straightforward, this is the way to go.
That's that is pretty amazing. I can easily see how I can do a Simu Live with 2 gigabytes because most of my recordings are sort of just under the 2 gigabyte mark.
Yeah.
So for me, that is just perfect. So another question is, with the advent of Amazon Live, for example. So I want to ask, which platforms you can go live too with Evmux. And then I want to ask, do you have any features that are specific to live selling, like Amazon Live? If you don't, is it on the roadmap?
Yeah, great question. So we currently have integrations. It means that with one click of a button, you can stream to Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitch. Okay, that's like the let's say native broadcasting channels we already have, and we have the what we call costume RTMP. Costume RTMP, for those not familiar, most of the live streaming platforms, for example, Vimeo, okay, let's take them as an example, but any other as well. They basically provide you what we call RTMP details, RTMP server link, URL, and RTMP stream key. So then you copy that from Vimeo as an example, and you just copy that in Evmux as a custom RTMP channel. And then basically from Evmux, you can stream everywhere. You are not really limited. I see that Marco is offline. And that's a great example how the stream is still going, and Brigetti and me can speak, although Marco is the producer and Marco is offline. So web-based, and you just see why it is important. Because if it was on Marco computer, the whole stream was just gone now.
Right.
So hi Marco, welcome back.
I'm back.
So that's the first answer to your question, and the next one, remind me what it was. Sorry.
Live selling, with live selling on Amazon,
Got you.
being
Correct.
able
Yeah,
to
yeah,
show products, links to products, and that sort of thing,
yeah. So
is
that's
becoming a huge thing.
you're totally right. We're definitely putting eyes and efforts to understand more the we call it shoppable live streaming.
Yeah.
We are now honestly researching, trying to understand how we can help there. Currently, we don't have any sort of specific integrations. I mean, we don't. It's not that you can take a product to Evmux with one click of a button and things of that sort. However, we have a very robust share screen capabilities, so you can use share screen to show things and things of that sort. And also you can connect multiple guests to the stream, and then the guests can be another camera showcasing something. So of course you can do things because we have the pro scenes, so you can do a lot of different things, but it's not that we have something native integration yet. Definitely exploring. All of you listening now, if you have any ideas of features you would like to see in the shoppable live streaming vertical, we would love to hear. We are basically learning now, trying to understand how we can position ourselves in this vertical and how we can help for people to sell more. Basically, that's the idea, right? In shoppable live
Well,
streaming.
I'm going to put myself and Marco on the spot here and say that we'll both volunteer to help you in that
Yes.
department.
Thank you. So we'll talk,
And I
of
think
course.
I think in the background, in the in the backstages, we have a few more people which would love to join as well.
I'd love that. I love to learn from people like you, experts in live streaming. We always this is again, this is the way we work for 10 years in our company, listening all the time, getting the feedback and evolving from this, and prioritize our roadmap according to this. I think it's the most important thing to grow fast, because we don't know everything. We basically don't know nothing. Okay, yeah, we have our experience, our own experience, but you cannot compare that to the experience of 100 other people that experience different things. So definitely listening all the time.
So I have another question for you, Elad. Um, First of all, what is your maximum guests that you can have on screen? And then another question, and I'll give you my use case.
Yeah.
Is it possible to integrate Zoom within Evmux? And my use case is, for example, one of the shows that I have is an author show, and that show's been running for 4 years. So once a year, we sort of have an annual celebration. And what I'd like to do is to bring together all my authors, or as many as what was available to join, that's been part of the show over the 4 years. But that's impossible to do on one screen, and the only way to do that is with Zoom. But uh, I'm not a fan of live streaming with Zoom. I love the bells and whistles. So is there any way of being able to integrate Zoom into Evmux um, in a simple manner that's not too complicated, so that I can show all these authors on screen and still use the benefits of Evmux? Is this possible? Is it something on your roadmap?
Yeah. So, first of all, to your first question, we allow, it depends on your package, but we basically allow 12 people on the screen. And for the enterprise packages, like, I mean, not we have the free basic pro, and then the limitation is 12 on the screen at the same time. If you go with the enterprise level, then we allow up to 16 people on the screen. That's for now. So that's for the first part of the question. For the second part, we don't currently have any integration per se with Zoom. I think that the best practice here, if you would like to take Zoom and kind of kind of crop it and put it into Evmux, the best way we'll do is to use another tool like OBS. Okay, and then with OBS you can crop the Zoom. Okay, and you can take the virtual camera of Zoom and put it in Evmux as a camera. Because in Evmux, if you connect the guest can select the camera, and then the camera can be your virtual OBS camera. And then you can take the feed that basically it's this Zoom and position it wherever you would like on the screen in Evmux. I think that's the best, if I understand the question correctly, and just out of the box, I think that's the best practice in this specific case. Um, I don't think we currently have any plan for the near future to really have a very, let's say, native, seamless integration with Zoom to be able to pull Zoom into Evmux. Never say never, but I don't see it happening in the near future.
Okay. I think, for me, I think being able to pull in to add it as a virtual camera is sort of the easy part. Um, the more tricky part is
Yeah, yeah.
managing the sound inputs. Because if you have Zoom running and you've got Evmux running, you obviously don't want to have the sound bouncing from one platform into the other. So
That's
that to
pretty
me would
easy
be the
fix. That
yeah.
that's pretty easy fix because you will be speaking in Zoom with your team. In Evmux, you basically will mute everything for yourself. So in the computer, you won't listen to the live feed of Evmux or something like that. You will mute everything, and then you basically just talk on Zoom with your team, and whatever you talk will go in Evmux, because when you share your virtual camera in Evmux, you share the virtual camera and the audio, not only the video. So I think it's totally doable in this case.
Well, if you explain it that way, I think it's totally doable.
Yeah,
If one can if it's as simple as muting all your
yeah.
audio in Evmux and then pulling the audio from Zoom, because the virtual camera part of Zoom fitting that in, that's the easy part from a producer perspective. So
Yeah, yeah, it's
I'd really
easy.
like to actually play around with that. I think that is totally doable. What do you think, Marco?
About the audio, I use a software called Voice Meter Banana, which routes the different sound feeds, and I think this could be also a nice way to bring the sound, the audio from Zoom. But yes, getting the screen share or the frame with OBS and then connect it to EVMux should be a nice option. Yes.
Wow, I must say I'm pretty impressed with the features that I've heard. I mean, this whole week with live stream production is to share the features of the different softwares, and I've had a pretty great experience just learning from you what the features are of EVMux. Are there any limitations, Elad, that the system currently has that you'd like to share? Are there any?
So limitations, wow. We have a lot of limitations. There are a lot of them in the roadmap. I think that the having more than one camera in Evmux, it's doable now, but it should be more smooth and easier. More integrations to other platforms, not just YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch. Adding more. Um, I think that the editor can look better. I think that local recording is something we should add. I think that different, to have the recordings with like having, we call it ISO, like isolated feeds per speaker, transcriptions, clipping, so many different things of post production capabilities. It's limitless, like it's endless. The roadmap is endless, but yeah, working day and night, to make it happen. I definitely agree that we already have an amazing tool that really is unique in the space, and that's important for us not to be just another live streaming tool. We have pretty unique features that other don't have. And I think that they are game changers. Like, it's not just a nice to have features, some of them really, really important. And I really encourage everyone just to try. It's free, and let us know what you think. But yeah, the roadmap is still full. Like, we are not even nearly having feature parity as we want. It's crazy,
I think I have
we just
one more
started.
feature that I remembered, Elad. Um, is a teleprompter feature something on your roadmap?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Is a teleprompter feature something on your roadmap?
Yeah, one option, one idea, sorry, one example that definitely in the roadmap. Teleprompter, nice, very nice feature. And also, teleprompter is a nice word, but how do you really implement it in an easy way, nice way? It's not only thinking about a feature, is how to implement it in a way that people will really enjoy using it, and the experience will be just amazing. So yeah, it's a lot of work, a lot of investment, a lot of hours of the not only development, but really plan how to develop things. Yeah, it's really challenging, but we love it. It's exciting.
Absolutely. So we came to the end.
I
Elad,
enjoyed it.
how can people find and know more about you and Evmux?
Of course. So LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. I think our YouTube channel is really helpful. A lot of content there. Through our website, after you sign up, we also have a chat that we try to be very responsive at to answer any question. And our Facebook group, look for our Evmux Facebook group. We have the page that, of course, we would like you to like if you would like. Nice, a lot of likes. But the Facebook group is really nice because a lot of people just asking questions, and also other people replying to other people, not only us replying, which is really nice because we see people how they leverage Evmux and use it in different ways, sometimes ways we even didn't think about. So really recommend people to join the group as well. And yeah, we try to be very accessible in any platform. I think it's a key factor for success to be able to listen to people, talk to people, and yeah, evolve from there. Definitely.
Thank you so much, Elad. Oh,
Of course.
this way.
Anytime.
Thank you so much. Look forward to talk to you more often as well. Thank you, Brigetti. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Elad.
Thank you. Thank you. My
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thanks for you who you're watching us. And tomorrow we will be back with, I think it's Steven, to talk about melon. So stay tuned to to get another nice conversation. See you. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.